There are names in history that survived because they built empires, commanded armies, or carved their victories into stone. We remember kings whose monuments dominate the desert skyline, pharaohs who claimed divinity through bloodline and throne. But sometimes the most powerful figure in an ancient world was not a king at all. This is the story of a man who rose from no dynasty, no inherited authority, no sacred lineage, and yet became so revered, so brilliant, so far beyond the human limits of his time, that Egyptians later believed he crossed the boundary between mortal and divine. His name was Imhotep, architect, healer, astronomer, engineer, high priest. A mind that seemed centuries ahead of the world around him, so advanced that even today, we still struggle to understand how he knew what he knew. And somewhere in the sands of Egypt, there is a place where he was buried. A tomb worthy of a genius. A resting place worthy of a god. Yet, it has never been found. Not by archaeologists, not by treasure hunters, not even hinted at in the meticulous records the ancient Egyptians left behind. A tomb of such importance should not be invisible, and yet it is. Completely. Why? That is where the mystery begins. Imhotep lived more than 4,600 years ago, during the reign of Pharaoh Djoser, a time when most civilizations were still learning to work with stone. And yet Imhotep designed something that changed Egypt forever: the step pyramid of Saqqara. Before him, tombs were simple mud brick rectangles called mastabas, modest, temporary, forgettable. There was no monumental architecture, no engineering built to last ages, nothing resembling the timeless stone structures we associate with ancient Egypt today. Imhotep looked at death and asked a question no one had asked before. What if memory could be made permanent? What if stone could defy time? He introduced the first pyramid, the first attempt at making legacy eternal. This idea sparked everything that came after: the pyramid age, the engineering revolution, the cultural obsession with eternity. Without Imhotep, the Egypt we imagine, the Egypt of pyramids, engineering brilliance, and architectural mystery, might never have existed at all. This was not an ordinary man. This was a mind that appeared almost out of nowhere, already complete, already capable, already extraordinary. Unlike pharaohs, Imhotep was not born into privilege. He rose through something far rarer: clarity of mind, knowledge, precision, observation, and something else, something that even the Egyptians struggled to explain. It was said that Imhotep could read the stars the way others read papyrus, that he could diagnose illness by watching the rhythm of a person's breathing, that he could predict the Nile's flooding season with uncanny accuracy. Predictions so exact that later Greek scholars compared him to Asclepius, their god of healing. Imhotep became more than an advisor, more than a priest, more than an engineer. He became a symbol of mastery, of intellect so refined it bordered on the mystical. Thousands of years after his death, he was worshipped as a god, not metaphorically, literally worshipped, and yet, for a figure of such reverence, his tomb was hidden, a god without a shrine to his body, a genius without a grave to honor him, a legend without a location. The silence around his burial is almost impossible to accept. Unless the silence was created deliberately, the ancient Egyptians documented everything: births, burials, taxes, harvests, the movement of stars, the rituals of daily life. If Imhotep had a tomb, it should have been monumental, sacred, protected, a place of pilgrimage, and yet not a single ancient text mentions where he was buried. Not one inscription, not one reference, not even a hint. This is not normal. This is not oversight. This is something else. There are only three possibilities. His tomb was hidden to protect what was inside. His tomb was destroyed to conceal what he left behind. Or, the most unsettling possibility, it was never meant to be found. But why would the resting place of Egypt's greatest mind be concealed? What could be so valuable, so disruptive, or so dangerous that it needed to vanish from memory itself? This is where the story shifts from curious to unsettling. Imhotep was not just the first architect, he was also one of the earliest known physicians in human history, perhaps the earliest whose name we still remember. There are indications he had access to knowledge that should not have existed yet, knowledge thousands of years ahead of its time. Surgical techniques, treatment of spinal injuries, understanding of the brain and nervous system, methods for wound cleaning using antibacterial substances, herbal sedatives, techniques that resemble early forms of cranial surgery. This is 2,000 years before Hippocrates, thousands of years before Greek medicine, before Roman anatomy, before modern science. The medical papyrus, known as the Edwin Smith Papyrus, thought to be influenced by Imhotep's teachings, contains systematic medical instructions that feel shockingly modern, clear, organized, scientific. Where did this knowledge come from? How did one man, in a distant age, acquire understanding that appears completely out of sequence with human development? If Imhotep documented his knowledge in sealed chambers, scrolls, or hidden repositories, it would rewrite the timeline of medicine, architecture, astronomy, and human advancement. Such knowledge, if found today, would change everything, and that alone may explain why his tomb has never surfaced. For decades, archaeologists have searched for Imhotep's resting place. They have examined the step pyramid complex, Saqqara's underground labyrinth, the Serapeum, and the desert beyond Memphis. Dozens of excavations, thousands of hours of research, millions spent. Still, nothing. But recent technology has changed the landscape of the search. Ground-penetrating radar has detected vast underground structures beneath Saqqara, rooms and corridors that do not match any known building plan. One chamber in particular appears sealed by unusually dense stone, resistant to drilling and excavation efforts. Some researchers believe this chamber could be Imhotep's tomb. Others warn that if it is opened, the history of human civilization might need to be rewritten, because whatever Imhotep knew, whatever he documented, whatever he carried, was not ordinary knowledge. It was something else, something ahead of its time, or beyond it. We can search for hidden chambers. We can map the sands and analyze the stone. We can look for patterns, inscriptions, and lost passages. But the deeper question is not about the tomb at all. It is about why Imhotep still calls to us, why his name feels like a whisper across time, why we sense that his story is incomplete. Perhaps we are drawn to him because Imhotep represents a chapter in human history that was never fully written, or was written and then erased. He lived in a time when knowledge was not fragmented, when astronomy, medicine, architecture, mathematics, and ritual were not separate disciplines, but part of one unified way of understanding the world. A time when intelligence was quiet, humble, observant, not loud, not glorified, not separated from the sacred. Imhotep did not chase power, he chased understanding. And perhaps that is why his tomb is missing. Not because it was lost, but because it was protected. Protected from empire, protected from exploitation, protected from being misunderstood or misused. protected until humanity reaches a moment when it can understand not just what Imhotep knew, but why he knew it. He is not gone. He is simply waiting. Waiting in stone. Waiting in silence. Waiting beneath time. And perhaps waiting for us to become the kind of civilization that deserves to find him